The invasion of Iraq in 2003 left the country in a mess. The streets were filled with rubble, and the air was thick with uncertainty. Saddam Hussein was gone, but nobody was in charge. The power vacuum created chaos and confusion among the people. Everything was chaotic and dangerous. Markets were in disarray, and security was a major concern for everyone. One thing was clear: Iraq's future depended on its oil. The vast reserves were seen as the key to rebuilding the nation. Iraq had tons of oil, which could help rebuild the country. The potential for economic recovery was immense, but this oil also became a target for bad guys who wanted to cause trouble. Sabotage and attacks on oil infrastructure were rampant. They attacked oil fields, pipelines, and refineries. These attacks severely hampered efforts to stabilize the country. This made it hard for Iraq to recover. The constant threat of violence made rebuilding efforts nearly impossible. The United States, which started the war, had to figure out how to protect all these oil locations. It was a daunting task. The regular army was already busy, and they weren't trained to guard these kinds of places. They needed specialized help. So, the US hired private companies to do the job. These companies brought in their own security forces. This was a controversial decision. Many people were uneasy about the use of private military contractors. One of these companies was Blackwater. It quickly became one of the most well-known names in private security. It was started by a former Navy SEAL, Eric Prince. His vision was to create a highly efficient and effective security force. Blackwater was known for having tough soldiers and using aggressive tactics. They were well-trained and well-equipped. They were also very secretive, which caused some concern. Their operations were often shrouded in mystery. Blackwater's job was simple: protect Iraq's oil, no matter what. They were tasked with ensuring the safety of vital resources. But how they did their job and what happened because of it changed things in Iraq and around the world. Their actions had far-reaching consequences. Blackwater's job was more than just guarding oil fields. They were tasked with a mission that was both vast and complex. They had to protect everything: the pipelines in the desert, the pumping stations, and the intricate network that kept the oil flowing. And the refineries that turn oil into fuel, ensuring that the lifeblood of the nation was always secure. It was a huge job, and it meant being in dangerous places all the time, facing threats that were both seen and unseen. Blackwater acted like an army, a private force with a public mission. They drove around in armored vehicles with lots of guns, always ready for any potential threat. Their soldiers, many of whom used to be in the special forces, were known for being tough and always following orders, no matter the situation. They weren't just security guards. They were like private soldiers with a lot of power, wielding influence and authority. Their tactics, while good at stopping attacks, also made people in Iraq angry, creating a sense of resentment and fear. Blackwater convoys often sped through busy streets and acted like they were above the law, disregarding local customs and norms. This made them a symbol of the US taking over, and it made things worse in an already tense situation, escalating conflicts. It became hard to tell the difference between protecting the oil and just showing off their power, blurring the lines of their true mission. Blackwater said they had to be aggressive because of the dangerous situation, justifying their actions as necessary for survival. But their actions also showed how complicated things were, highlighting the intricate and often chaotic nature of their operations. At first, some people thought Blackwater was necessary, even if they didn't like it, seeing them as a necessary evil in a volatile environment. But soon, they became really controversial, especially after something terrible happened: the Nisour Square massacre, which changed everything. Blackwater caused a lot of problems in Iraq. Their aggressive tactics made people angry, including some in the US government. Many people questioned whether it was right to use private armies in a war. In 2007, Blackwater guards killed 17 Iraqi civilians in Nisour Square. This terrible event made everyone pay attention to the problems with private security companies in war zones. Blackwater's time in Iraq is a complicated story, filled with both controversy and necessity. They did protect important things in a very dangerous place, ensuring the safety of key assets. But what they did also changed how people think about private armies and their role in modern conflicts. As Iraq tries to rebuild, what happened with Blackwater is an important lesson in the complexities of war. The question of whether or not to use private armies is still being discussed, with many differing opinions, and it will probably affect decisions about war and security for a long time to come.